Very, very aggressive player for sure, and teams will be banning their brawlers right now as well, so we'll be looking at that in just a moment. I'm really kind of curious to see what they're going to be going for. Yeah, no surprises there. Amber and Max for SK Gaming, Byron and Colonel Ruffs for Bunker Esports. No duplicates, so those 4 brawlers will not be seen. What do you make of that, Teddie?
I think those bans make a lot of sense, particularly Amber, Byron, and Colonel Ruffs. I think they are probably the 3 strongest brawlers right now in the game. They are very hard to face and really change the way the game is played. So I think those are very safe bans. Max, really solid right now as well. And I think we're going to be about to hop into match number 1, Ark.
Yeah, ESPORTS is the first map up, followed by Shooting Star, and then Siege, Nuts and Bolts. If we do get that far, again, it's the best of three stage, so things could be over quite quickly. I would say that the bans for me make a lot of sense. It does still leave a couple of options open. Rose is in a great spot, and she would be an ideal one for ESPORTS for me. Sprout is still on the cards as well, and have a very, very strong contender in ESPORTS. So I would say that there's definitely still some strong brawlers available, but the strongest ones have been ruled out, in my opinion.
Yeah, and just as you were saying, Sprout here on Semantic, we have 2 8-bits on the left lane, right lane, Mr. P versus Jesse, and then Rafa on the Mr. P in the middle. Really interesting that Rafa is going to be playing Mr. P mid, while Skyrix is choosing to play at lane. What are your thoughts on that, Art?
Yeah, Jesse, I think is an interesting choice for me from Bunker. I personally prefer the SK comp myself, but at the moment it's definitely Bunker with more control over the mid. Despite Rafa being quite low, he has got 4 gems in the pocket, so but things might be changing now. Semantic starts to put down the wall and gain more control on the mid.
They are dueling out on their separate lanes. The first skill is going to be the opening. And when you get that first kill, that enables you to help out your teammates a bit more. Jadon was a good beam on Rafa, not resulting in a kill just yet. Pretty slow and safe game so far.
I really like this from SK, just kind of being very cautious going into the matchup, staying alive very nicely, but now look how they shifted from their free lane approach to just dominating the mid, and Jetson just coming in to support Semantic and leaving Boss for Bunker on that right-hand side lane. He's not really able to do much while Skarx is spawning back in, but I do feel like the Porters are definitely going to be in Skarx's favor in terms of seeking out Boss in that position.
Yeah, they are definitely going to help out on those lanes, getting some extra firepower, some extra distractions, and even if they don't really deal much damage, you need to use up to 2 ammo to break them down, and that's enough to put you at a disadvantage. And look at this, SK Gaming, they have to retreat. It's a countdown for Bunker Esports. SK has 10 more seconds to interrupt it.
Yeah, but down goes 1 player from Bunker, and everyone's pretty low for the most part. It's Boss in the middle, 11 gems still in the pocket though, however, and I think they are going to be safe and sound for the first game at least. Pretty good performance from Bunker. I gotta say that Jesse kind of worked out despite it not being probably my preferred lane brawler choice.
Yeah, I really agree with you. This is not really like the comp I would have gone for, especially the Jessie. But the important thing is that it wasn't a problem. The Jessie was doing just fine on her lane, not particularly shining, but just holding her own weight. While the middle is really where most of the action was. Rafa doing extremely well against Semantic in the middle area, being able to pick up those gems and get into a great position for his team.
Yeah, Darkroom there was putting a ton of lane pressure on the left-hand side, and I gotta say, had it to Bunker Esports for the way that they were able to just kind of distract SK Gaming from getting to really any position to be able to contest that gem countdown. There was really no time for any kind of real moment in the spawn where it could have gone back and forth. SK definitely need to look at their strategy going into this next game, potentially some brawler change-ups as well. A Rosa on the right side lane against the Jessie would be a great choice, depending upon whether Bunker decide to mix up themselves.
Yeah, I really agree. And just talking quickly again about the fact they had so much space when the countdown started, they really pushed SK all the way back to their spawn, which means that Bunker had so much space to just fall back, be safe, buy some time, and basically completely make sure that SK couldn't defuse that situation.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But a great start for Bunker. I mean, arguably the underdog of these two teams. I mean, SK Gaming, as we know, were in the World Finals last year and did very, very well throughout the entirety of the year. So absolutely, I would say a strong favorite going into this matchup. But Bunker with the early lead might start to put some more pressure on things, and we are seeing some changes. We're going to see Semantic taking the right side lane with Sprout against the Jessie, so that was obviously communicated amongst the players, and Skyrex going to be going with Colette on this left-hand side lane to take on Darkroom.
Skyrex was a great double kill on that left side of the map. Jeden going to be looking to pick up those gems, and kickoff was a pretty decent lead already, 5 gems. That is definitely the kind of start you want, especially when you're down 1-0 already. Boss trying to find some good bounces on that Porter. Will not get any connections on Jeden just yet.
Yeah, great start for the SK. Jeden with 7 gems in the mid. A much different story this time around, looking more composed and putting a ton of pressure onto Bunker, who first time looking in a much more defensive spot right now. 1 gem away from countdown for SK, and yeah, this is working out far, far better than the previous round.
Yeah, I completely agree. We get that countdown now for SK Gaming. Can Bunker Esports interrupt this one? Can they take down Jeden? I don't think they have any space. They are so far away. Jeden in the corner of the map is safe, and that's gonna be 1-1 now in this first set.
Much better performance. SK are obviously, for me at least, showing good signs of communication. They are looking to reassess and stay calm under pressure. That is making a big difference for me. I gotta say, I think Colette here, definitely the right call to go with that particular brawler choice. It made a big difference to be able to outrange Dark from that left-hand side lane, but just a much better overall, more composed performance, I would say.
Yeah, I really agree. I think that even in the beginning already, Skyrex got 2 quick kills. That was so nice to just get that upper hand, get some momentum back after that initial game loss. And that this means that now we're going to a decider. It's 1-1. Whoever wins this next game is going to take the first set completely. So what do you think about this arc?
Yeah, set points, and we'll see now which of these 2 teams is able to stay the calmest under the pressure. And you know, I've got to say that there are still some brawlers that we have yet to see that could be potentially good here, but for me, Mr. P, definitely one that I think is going to be a staple diet here. I think it's kind of really down to Bunker now. How do they respond? Do they want to stay firm with their comp, or do they want to try to mix things up? I think for me, 8-bit might come into some problems on that left-hand side lane, and they, you know, might want to reconsider maybe even going for like the mirror matchup, choosing Colette. Let's see what they go with.
Oh, Mortis coming in for Rafa. That could actually do all right against the Mr. P and the Sprout, but he gets beamed down as soon as he gets up close. That's going to be the first kill. Darkum gonna fall to Skyrex, and SK Gaming, they start off with control of the center.
Edgar, for me, is an interesting pick. We actually did not see Edgar, I believe, at all yesterday in the EECA region. So Skyrex bringing that one out is a brawler, which I don't think, for me, Bunker Esports really kind of saw coming. And look at how much Skyrex is going to town right now with these back-to-back takedowns.
Yeah, he's doing amazing so far. 8-bit is so slow while Edgar is so quick. And the thing is, Skyrex on that Edgar should be able to win any 1v1 up close. There's no opponent or no opponent brawler that can really defeat him in this situation. So Bunker really need to group up, play together, and play it really carefully.
I gotta say, I love the way Skyrex does to actually evade the incoming fire, which would have absolutely taken him down. So it just goes to show that Edgar is not just an aggressive brawler to go up against in a 1v1, but also to be able to come back and stay alive for your team. Massively important here as SK draw ever closer to getting that final gem for countdown, but it's actually Bunker Esports now starting to take more of a controlling position in the mid as they start to hunker down. Those pauses will seek out Rafa at the moment, and he's trying to avoid using his dash. Good chemistry and teamwork, those boss gets the takedown on it.
Yeah, Bunker Esports is going to be praying to not get a very bad gem spawn that could potentially favor SK here, but Rafa is going well. He's going to find 2 kills, 7 gems to his name, and he's going to be falling back, but Semantic manages to take him down. Darkum TP's back, and that's the countdown for Bunker.
Oh my goodness, Rafa with an incredible play there to get the takedown the gems, but Darkroom with the cheat cartridge gadget there just to get out of harm's way. He just disappeared off the map, but out of harm's way and into countdown. Bunker Esports are going to take the first set.
Yeah, we were doubting Mortis for a few seconds early on in that match, but he absolutely proved us why he went for that pick. And I mean, that's the thing with Mortis. Sometimes it gets a bit tough to hold on to your lane, but look look at this. Those pretty much only possible with Mortis as well. Just getting in there, that massive heal you can get from that super is just crazy. And he made the most value out of it, Ark.
Yeah, and there was actually just a moment that I called out just prior to that dash in on the SK spawn there. You know, if you notice really closely there, Ruffle was being very cautious to not dash and take down the Mr. P porters. It was actually some communication going on there with his teammates to be able to take it down first. Obviously looking to savor up the star power of Coil Snake to get that additional length on the dash, to go in there with the gadget as well to increase the amount of dashes and get that takedown. Great teamwork from Bunker Esports, who now are in a great spot to actually put even more pressure on SK Gaming. One more win would put them on match point.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast things can go in a best of 3 sets. I mean, honestly, I'm really surprised by this turn of events. I think SK Gaming were very much the favorites coming into this match. They had a really good performance across the qualifiers as well. And look at this, Shooting Star is going to be our next map. How do you feel like the bans might affect this particular map?
A little bit, to be honest. Not necessarily the most. I think there's brawlers that are still available here for me. Tick is the one that springs straight away to mind as being a very dominant performer in Shooting Star. I would say Max being out of the mix here could be potentially an issue, and Byron obviously does cause some problems. But having said that, Piper is a great brawler with homemade recipe. You can go with the bow nanny comp and sit down underneath your super totems. So there are definitely some options available here to sort of carry this out in quite a similar meta fashion as we tend to see in the pro scene.
Yeah, Shooting Star is a super fun map, and you were right on the Piper, on the Nani as well, and the Tick in the center. Sprout gonna be the difference maker there on Rafa on that right lane. Not Rafa, Buff rather.
This is the battle of the skins, isn't it? Every single brawler is rocking a skin. No default skins here today on this particular matchup, but it is going to be already Bunker Esports with a quick pickup. 3 stars, and worth to mention as well, the blue star this year. We will now see no more draws in Bounty, something that we didn't really get to see much of being in play last year. So that's a really great addition for BRAWL Esports. I think that Bounty last year, potentially a little bit slow moving. This year, there's going to be some really amazing turnarounds to be seen on that instant replay.
Yeah, I really agree. I think that, you know, Bounty was already game mode where you had to be really cautious, and it was more important to survive rather than getting straight up kills. But now, if you're holding on to that blue star, you want to be twice as careful. If you fall, that could be the difference maker in the end. So you really want to make sure you don't overpeak, don't take any unnecessary risks. And so far, Bunker Esports with a great start.
Yeah, Semantic's holding out on that homemade recipe, just looking to seek the right time to use it. He has to use it on the next available shot, so really important that he connects with this, especially at the moment as SK are behind. There is the connection. It does strike Rafa. The time is ticking, 25 seconds left, and still SK Gaming yet to get a single star here.
I just want to point out how amazingly Boss is keeping Semantic away. Well, you'd think Piper has more range with, you know, the particularly good placed walls. It can really make the difference. But look at this pinch on the left side. Darkum and Rafa have nowhere to go. Rafa goes down, and they find Darkum as well. Skyrex finds the kill. They get the victory.
As we were literally just discussing the importance of that blue center star, and SK had it in their pocket at the end of that moment. My goodness me, right the way down to the wire. Semantic going down there, had my heart in my mouth. That's return to sender from the nanny there, putting him so low on health. But Skyrex coming in and Jetson with that super as well. My goodness me, SK, they're cutting it fine today.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. And indeed, return to sender could have been a big problem, but it was actually Jedden that got one of his tick mines to connect, so it wasn't too much damage, and that meant that the Nani could get up close and finish off that kill, giving the win to SK ultimately. I mean, that was really great, and I think that was something that SK desperately needed, because now they have some more momentum on their side.
Could have been a disastrous start for SK then. They did not want to go down in the first round of Bounty to be on match point scenario there. Did very, very well, and now the best chance so far of getting back into the swing of things and taking it to the third and final set. If they can get one more win in Bounty, we'll go to Siege. For the moment, let's see how they play this one out. No real brawler changes up. Boss is going to go with Mr. P, however, which might mix things up ever so slightly in favor of Bunker if they can just get these aggressive plays to push SK back into their spawn.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting dynamic. Blue Star picked up by Jadon, so SK Gaming starting off with a single star lead. Let's see how they can hold on to this position. I'm really curious with Sprout leaving the comp for Bunker. I feel like Sprout was doing really well against Semantic, really pushing them away and giving them no space to work with. Let's see if Bunker can find their first kill.
There's the connection there on Darkroom from Scarix and the return to center as well, just to keep in mind of how many gadgets are being used by these players. It's always good to see a little tally as to how much they might be saving and how much they want to go for the aggressive play. Still a very, very mixed affair here, as SK seems to be holding mid pretty well. Only one star still available right now, and it's in SK's favor. And watch out for that blue star. If Jetson goes down by a member of Bunker, it will swap hands, and that could be disastrous for SK.
Absolutely, Darkroom taking some big hits, has to fall back for now and heal up a bit. Scarix trying to find the finish, can't quite get that to work out. And we have our final countdown, 10 seconds left as Bunker Esports are moving forward. Semantic in a tough spot, he's gonna fly away, but he gets taken quite low HP, still alive, he's staying alive until the end, and that's a no-kill victory for SK Gaming, taking the bounty set arc.
I think Rafa did very well at the end of that game as well for me, using that tick gadget last hurrah just to kind of stay in the mix there. Despite the loss, I feel like that could have been even worse for Bunker had he gone down there. But yeah, SK just keeping such composure. I mean, like, you know, it's very rare to be able to hold out the entirety of a bounty game without kind of like any real back and forth. That middle star was all it really took to win the match.
Yeah, a quick replay from the first game of Bounty, and that's what I was talking about. Return to sender, going on to Jadon, which meant that Scarix could safely get up close and get that kill.
Yeah, that Bounty finale in that first round for me, definitely the biggest moment and play of today so far. It was such a close one to call. As a result of that, I've got to say, I feel like that was the turning point for me. SK coming back into the mix now, taking this to the third and final sets, but had they not done that in that moment, maybe they wouldn't have had that increase of team morale to get them through to this far. As it is a knockout phase, we are in the elimination bracket phase, so whoever loses between these two teams will be going home today.
Yeah, exactly. A lot at stake. I mean, both teams started off the season really well. They don't want to go home in this first round, but there's only one team that can make it true, and we're going to be moving on to Nuts and Bolts on Siege next up. I'm excited. I love Siege.
Absolutely, yeah. Nuts and Bolts, a fan favorite map, and one which I think is more on the balanced side for some Siege maps actually, and it opens the doors up to more of a control-based play style. And for me, that's what SK were demonstrating really, really well in the bounty rounds, just kind of keeping themselves calm and collected. So going into Siege now could be the perfect game mode for them in order to be able to just seal the deal right now, but it's still neck and neck. Bunker have got just as much chance of knocking out SK.
Yeah, exactly. I think so many factors are going to come into play, such as, momentum, obviously. And that's the thing as well. Once it's 1-1, it gives a slight momentum advantage to SK, since they are on their comeback. They have the momentum with them. They have the hype. They have the good motivation. And they're the one on the winning streak now. So it's going to be about Bunker if they can shut down SK. But it can go very quickly once again. 2 games is enough to win this set and move on to the semifinals.
So the Brawl picks up BB, no surprises there, but actually Scarix not going to be running batting stance. It's going to be Boss who's going to be doing so. Home run for Scarix to get those bolts, so that seems to be a thing for SK, that they want to have that additional speed in order to bank the bolts over potentially just staying alive on the map, and that might be going against them now as Bunker Esports hunkering down the mid, jetting with a roll in to get that bolt. Could be a crucial play there actually for SK.
Yeah, they get that first siege bot. They will be 2 bolts behind coming into the next one, but this is going to be about the defense from Bunker. If you are new to competitive siege, basically teams tend to not overcommit to those early siege bots, as they just want to keep middle control and make sure they bang the bolts, because no matter how little damage you deal, if you're the team that gets every single siege bot, you're going to be winning the match.
Exactly that. Great mid control from SK. Almost a team wipe there as only the Sunny Rafa remains here. I think that Rafa's going to have a tough time against Jetson as well. If Jetson can close the gap with his super and roll in to get that takedown, one of the more squidgier of the team there. And for me, a bit of a weak link as 8 bolts are now sitting in the bank for SK. Bunker might be able to get something for the final round, but they're going to have to turn things around quickly as they are definitely on the back foot here.
Yeah, they have a couple bolts lead, but this is a bigger siege bot, more damage to be expected on that Ike. They're defending very well so far, and because of the close range brawler picks on SK Gaming side, they can't overcommit too much, but the double kill from Semantic is definitely gonna help out, because that's extra damage on Ike plus a double kill, so more space to retake middle control.
What a turn up then. Bunker looking for these final bolts, and it's SK who are doing a great job though of deterring them from doing so. There is enough there to get a push though, and at the moment with about 50% difference here, it's possible that Bunker Esports here might be able to make the play at level 8, though for SK will not allow them to do just that, and they are going to try to make a rush here. Darkroom rushing in to get some damage. Will it be enough? I don't think it's going to be enough, as actually SK will seal the deal before the bot even reaches it.
Yeah, I do have to say it's pretty formidable that they managed to get 50% on that Ike without getting a single siege bot. So props on that for Bunker, but obviously it was not enough, as SK managed to get all 3 siege bots and tons of damage on that Ike, ultimately taking it down even before the siege bot reached it.
Wow, SK then now on to match points. Bunker have yet to show themselves as starting to get back into the swing of things here. They're going to have to really now think things through and try to predict what SK are going to bring in terms of their brawler comp in the next game. I've got to say, for me, Tick could be an option here, although despite it being maybe one of the weaker brawlers for defense, I think at the moment for me what Bunker Esports lack is control. They've got to get more control and start to bring back some authority in the mid control. There's not banking enough bolts, and SK going in with such a tanky comp. So that's another thing that they're gonna have to consider. A collect could be an option, but that's only just, you know, bearing in mind that SK may or may not change their comp. They could go in with something completely different, but they definitely need to get more control of the mid and bank more bolts if they're gonna be staying in this competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as a reminder, this effectively means that SK Gaming is at match point right now. They are 1 win away from the semifinals. This could be absolutely huge for them. We'll see if they can pull through, or if Bunker Esports have some more to show, and if they can start maybe a comeback within this final set. I mean, I think both teams got to be pretty nervous right now.
Yeah, so much is at stake here now. You know, it's 1 win away from Bunker going home empty-handed here, so they're going to have to really dig deep and think things through and try to bring something out of the mix. And we have seen that a little bit from them today. We saw it in Gem Grab, you know, changing out a brawler for something unexpected, like a not necessarily in this instance being Immortus, but something that is going to take SK by surprise to pull this out the bag, because we might end up going to a joint match point scenario here, and that would be a super exciting thing to see.
Yeah, especially for the first match of the day, of the year for this region. I think that's the most we can hope for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a reminder of some of the bands as well. We have Max, Colonel Ruffs, Byron, some really strong brawlers meta-wise. So that does leave some options available to these two teams to decide upon. But you know, definitely the front runners for sure out of the mix here. I expect we'll probably see BB again. Look, we are going to see a bit of a mix-up. Good, this is great from Bunker, going in with Frank, Sprout, and BB yet again. And actually, Gene coming in for SK. Who is a brawler which we saw played and such a huge win rate for last year. Now with a few nerfs, Gene not in the best of places, but one of the few maps and game modes that I've got to say Gene is viable for is absolutely Siege Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah, Siege is so versatile I said Siege, but Gene is so versatile in Siege. The ability to take control by getting pulls into that Ike, finishing off kills, isolating players as you just saw onto Darkum as he just got pulled, and also pulling the Siege bot in defense. So such a wide assortment of tools at his disposal. And SK, they still have middle control. Can Bunker retake it successfully?
Darkrum's probably a hit or two away from super hit, but he does need to get to be able to really assert his authority, and taking so low on HP. And there's a takedown from SK on Boss there, and Rafa just doing his best to try to hold the right-hand side lane. We might even see potentially a tie here. Nice connecting bubble from Rafa. The mid is lost though. This will be the first defense then finally for SK, and a chance for Bunker to bring this one back.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one as they just picked up a kill as well. Let's see if Darkum can maybe get a super on that Ike and stun a couple of players with it as well. Ike is stunned, but it's not a whole lot of damage, and we have a 7-bolt lead coming into that final siege. But a perfect wall from Boss, going to be buying so much time, but is it enough?
Super clutch wall from Boss, banking 2 bolts, picking up a 3rd there as well. This is a great spot for Bunker, as now Darkrum and Rafa can join the pack once again. The bubble going in leaves Rafa low but not down. 7 bolts though in favor of SK, and this is the last siege inbound coming up. A lot of work for Bunker to do, as have SK, but whoever gets this round is surely going to take this one.
Oh, that was a close one, but a 1-bolt edge here is going to give SK Gaming that final siege bar, but it's not over just yet. They need to deal 42% more damage just for the tie. Obviously 43 if they want to take a win. Good wall, going to buy some more time. The stun on the siege bot as well. Can SK get up close? They need more damage. The siege bot is almost down, and will they make it happen? No!
What an amazing defense. The Frank stun super just being held so well by Bunker, just keeping very, very collected and calm despite the pressure that was mounting to defend that push. Gotta give a hand as well to that Sprout wall that came in so clutch, getting out of that second push to delay the proceedings enough to bank a hefty amount of bolts as well, allowing his teammates to come back into the mix there, as Bunker Esports now bring this to a tied match point scenario. Whoever wins this next game of Siege goes through to the semifinals, and whoever loses goes home.
The nerves are at its peak. Both teams have so much to win, so much to lose here. And honestly, I did not expect this match to be this close, but Bunker Esports have proven themselves to be definitely a worthy opponent for the least for SK Gaming. So I think we can expect an amazing final game. And honestly, I'm really happy that Bunker Esports went for that Frank, a big switch up compared to their previous comp. And that's something I really like. When a team is at a disadvantage, they are behind in score, they are the underdogs in the first place, take risks. If you take risks, even if it's a bit dangerous, you also have that chance of surprising your opponents and coming with something fresh that they were not prepared for.
Yeah, that's a great thing that Bunker Esports have in their disposal, as we saw again earlier today in Gem Grab. They mix things up. In Bounty, we didn't really see that, but we did see SK mixing some things up, and then they went through successfully in that stage. So now, they've kind of lost the element of surprise, which kind of arguably gives them a lesser opportunity. So they're going to have to really be cautious now as to whether they want to try the same thing again. Frank is a bit of a shock pick, is the way that I refer to him, similar to Mortis and other brawlers, where they can hit really hard, they can cycle really successfully well, but if you know it's coming, then it kind of defeats the purpose of having that kind of brawler in the comp. So what they do next, I am very, very excited to see.
Yeah, at least they've already proven us that they had that ability that not a lot of teams have, to just bring in a brawler that you just don't expect in this particular map or game mode, and that somehow manages to clutch up. In this case, it was Frank and Sprout. In Gem Grub, as you said, Mortis, which you don't really see ever in Ice Fort, and it was a turning point for them that won them that set. So I don't know, I feel like this could really go either way, and that's really the beauty of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got to be honest though, like if Bunker Esports do pull out a W in this next game, I think that it will definitely send shockwaves through the EMEA region. I've got to say, I love an underdog, I really, really do. So I think I might be a little bit biased here as to how I want to see this go, but at the same time, both of these two teams performing exceptionally well today. I just think that as we saw so much of SK Gaming last year, I think that it might send a few messages amongst the new format being such an interesting development this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, so many big changes and so many new opportunities. As we said, 8 teams means that there's a bit more unknown teams. Bunker Esports, they're already known amongst the competitive scene, but definitely, I mean, they didn't make it to a single monthly final last year. This is their first appearances, especially as this roster. And we start off with a first kill from Teddie.
I like this from SK going with Sprout and Daryl. It's a great combination, and Ruff going with Primo. Not too sure about myself personally. Drops the bolt as well. Did not bank that. SK will take that one in the pocket, get the first push. They might not go in aggressively, but they've definitely got the area control option available to them for going into this next round. They're going to get some damage, actually. Just go with the SK going in with the aggression. Look at this from SK. Not what I expected at all in the first push.
That's a lot of damage. 22% is all that's left on that save. I think Semantic tried to place that wall to get some extra bounces with the bubble. It didn't quite work out because it was a bit placed late, but that's something I've never seen before.
My goodness me, I fully expected them to stay back and just wait for the control phase. They were not going for that in any way at all. 80% damage on the first push. And look at this, though. In the meantime, a lot of bolts being banked by Bunker. A level 8 coming in. Are they going to be able to hold on to this control going into this next round? This could be turning the tides here, Teddie.
Yeah, absolutely. Bunker, they want to get as much value as they can from this siege bomb, but that wall is placed perfectly. I love how Semantic just reached for that extra damage to get that super available, and that's a perfect defense as well. SK Gaming, even if they don't get this siege bot, some BB bubbles could make the difference if they can get some connections on that Ike.
Gotta say, Transplant from Semantic there, just coming in super clutch, being able to place down multiple Sprout walls in defense. But look at this now. Darkrum's gonna be banking 3 bolts off the back of this. A 4th, if Boss can stay alive to bank that one as well, which he does. So this could be disastrous. It's a tie, a tied game. And as it stands, if nothing changes, SK have just about got this one in the bag.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to find more than 80% damage with a dive for Bunker Esports. That's gonna be a disastrous way for them to end their run in this first monthly qualifier appearance for them. But GG's to SK Gaming. But oh my, this was a fight all the way until the end, Ark.
I mean, what a matchup to start this stream today. My goodness me, a tie in Siege is all that stood between Bunker knocking out SK, but SK did very well, and I don't know, I think many will be surprised at just how close this battle really was.
Absolutely. We're getting some replays and highlights from this match. Look at this, Rafa going in. You'd think he's dead, he's so low, but he manages to get 2 connections on that super, make it a 3rd and 4th one now, getting full HP, manages to fall back, or his teammates do, with all of the gems. That was that first really turning point for Bunker Esports, with once again that amazing choice of brawlers. And here we go back to that play we talked about a few times already, where they just managed to pinch Bunker in the corner. Perfect teamwork from SK Gaming. And we are moving on to Siege, where we had some pretty exceptional plays as well, Ark.
Yeah, this for me, honestly, was the most exciting of the rounds that we saw today. So close, and some great plays. I love that wall from Boss there, just allowing his team to come back into the mix and just delay the advance of SK. And this was a pretty solid defense here as well, with Semantic with a great super, and then popping out another gadget to be able to place down another super. Great delaying tactics from SK, just enough to get back into the mix so quickly as well, to be able to contest that mid, to get the bolts they needed to tie the round, because that could have gone a very different way. A very aggressive and also almost disastrous first push, actually, because it meant that they lost control of the mid, allowing Bunker to get about 8 bolts in the following round. So high risk, high reward, but SK pull it out the bag, get the dub, and they'll be going through to our semifinals.
Exactly. I think that match already set up a standard for what we can expect of today's matches, of their quality. But we're moving on to Fekix versus Master